You know,
they saw the
so,
change they came out of, but they still saw the situation they was held in, and alone that can make a person go crazy.
oh, it can. I cannot imagine those times.
Yeah, perm your hair, girl. You gonna get that job? No, I'm not saying to do that, but that's how it was. What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. Super excited about this video. If you're new to us
And we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
By the 1950s, 10 years after my cousin Willa Mae and her husband Johnny decided to pass for white, they had completely assimilated into white culture in Omaha. Johnny worked as an engineer for the U.S. government, while Willa Mae stayed at home with their children. As the kids grew older, they married white.
I got something to say already. Do you remember that movie we watched, babe?
Which one?
I forgot the name of it, but it was in them times. And the lady was young, and she kept, they would sneak off at night to go meet each other by the tree. And then when they got older, her mama made her pass for white. But her features was as black as day.
Dion, there was so many movies. I don't remember the name of the movie.
Remember the movie I'm talking about, though? You remember? It started off with them playing instruments, and it was the brothers. And the daddy left. They went to Chicago, you remember? He came. The end of the movie was he got beat up by a whole bunch of men.
It's a Tyler Perry movie. Hold up,
he got beat up by a whole bunch of men because he had to go back to make sure they wasn't going to get his mama instead because they heard that he was back. His brother snitched on him.
Dang, hold on. Wait, Jasmine's Blues.
Yeah.
That's what it was called. But, babe, there's so many different types of movies about this.
That's crazy.
Imitation of Life, Passing. That's a new movie. It's probably still on Netflix. But Jasmine's Blues, I believe, is on Netflix, too, so y'all go watch it.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
I want to start off this conversation with saying Jim Crow, segregation, that was hard times. So we cannot judge these people.
No, not at all, man.
Now, I mean, to extent. Because some of them, they passed, and then they passed off that judgment from the other side onto
well, they had to play. They started to play the card. They was
They should have been one of the good ones. Okay?
Yeah, I feel what you're saying.
If you're going to cross to the other side because of what you're dealing with,
well, you
be one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to put that out there because there are some families today who still probably don't know that their family passed. But looking at this picture, probably fooled y'all, but can't fool us. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, especially my brother all the way in the left with the red tie.
Especially,
it's given.
Everybody.
It's given. Yeah, man, a real thing, like you said. Back in them times was difficult, bro. Identity crisis at its best.
You think though?
Yeah, for one, because they wanted to fit in so badly. Like, it was so hard for them to get a job. It was so hard for them to have their children be accepted in certain schools. Like, it was hard for them to just be themselves in a day-to-day basis as a black person in America. Like, they say, you know what? And plus, all these commercials with the dolls, with the toys, with the cartoons was passing for just white people on a regular basis. So the identity was, like, just being played with. Like,
But you can't really blame them, though.
No,
society. They didn't see things changing, you know.
They saw the change they came out of, but they still saw the situation they was held in. And alone, that can make a person go crazy.
Oh, it can. I cannot imagine those times.
Yeah, perm your hair, girl. You gonna get that job? No, I'm not saying to do that, but that's how it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't even. Oh, Queen. The movie Queen. It is the mother side of Alex Haley's family. So the man who made Roots. Go check out Queen. She passed or tried.
And that's why I don't really go too crazy. Like I'm gonna just say that's why like people gotta have understanding. Like the black community was spit out after like from 400 years of slavery, like 400 years. Like you gotta think about that alone. How many mixing was going on? Like nonstop. The mental breakdown, all that stuff was just it was crazy than crazy, and then it was spit out to say go figure it out, and figuring it out was like one of the most, on top of still dealing with the problems. Like you got to think about that.
Yes, and just thinking about what they went through in Brazil, the miscegenation. You know, because when we start, we can't talk about one part of the diaspora and not talk about other parts of the diaspora as well. So that's why it's important for everybody to learn about everybody.
Then there's one location where they don't even know they're black.
Yeah.
Like
When
literally,
you
they
get
don't
to
even
that-
know they're black, and it's not them. It's not the positive light of it where it's like, that they don't see color, where everybody's just equal in this location, but they literally being told their history is not there to experience, to know that who they are.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I wanted to start this topic off this way, because this is a hard topic for some people. You know, there are people who still alive, you know, and
We got, let's
yeah.
People and had children of their own, creating another generation of people that, unbeknownst to them, were passing. That is until I found my cousin Becky Jo, who helped me piece together the history of the Nebraska cousins. Josh and I are going to meet up with his sister Katie Lane to see how this new information has affected her sense of self, if at all. I'm hoping that their dad Mickey, Becky Jo's brother, will join us.
Interesting topic.
Here we are. So who's the oldest out of you guys?
Our sister Jamie.
She lives in Kansas City.
She's probably the widest of the whole bunch.
Yes.
You know, you grow up hearing this story, and everyone's like, oh, the Nebraska cousins, the Nebraska cousins, the Nebraska cousins. And I'm like, who are these people? I'm going to find them, thanks to Google.
That's awesome.
It's pretty easy. My grandmother didn't want me to call, but I did anyway. From her perspective, it was sort of like,
just like a
well, they left us.
Facts.
So why should we reach out? Like, the kids don't know. Maybe they want to know who their family is. Your grandma came to our family reunions in the 80s.
By yourself?
And didn't tell anybody.
Let's talk about that, because this is a hard topic. It is. These were not easy decisions for these people. And that's why I don't want nobody to look down on these people. When they passed, they had to forget their family existed. This lady came back. And then she didn't take her children home. So, this was a hard decision for these people.
I was 9, but she was at the family reunion. So how did you find out?
Becky. It was crazy because we'd always ask grandma questions and she'd never have anything to say about
Where we're from, and say we're both Bohemian.
Like, is Bohemian an actual thing? Are there any family members that have been like, I don't want to hear it?
No, not really.
Kind of Bohemian.
Yeah, besides
When Grandma was in the home with Alzheimer's, he had mentioned it to her, and she got super defensive, closed right off, and her voice changed and got kind of angry. And, don't talk about it. I'm not telling anything.
so he's probably just used to that, always being shut up. And
I was telling Josh yesterday was that uncle was the one that knew, your oldest, John. He was the only one. So
oldest
he had
always
grown
knew.
up with all the black family members in Harlem. So you can imagine leaving the blackest place in New York City and coming here and then being like, okay, we're white now. John S. Lane III died on July 7th, 2006 at the age of 68. Black family members that knew him back in Harlem said that there was no way that he didn't know that their family was black and that it was his parents that forced him to keep the secret. So your dad, man, he's a no-show today.
I think he's worried he might get upset, and he's like, I don't want to get upset at Robin when I should be mad at my madre.
Is that what he said?
Ish, in a roundabout way.
he was like, can you ask Robin where my dad was born? I was like, I feel like you should ask her, but he
that breaks my heart, 'cause
know
they don't even know.
He was like, I would have liked to know all this stuff when I was 20, growing up, but now I feel like I'm old and I don't need to know this stuff. When he was in the Navy, he got in a whole bunch of fights because people would call him mulatto, and when he was in high school, people would say that about their family, and they'd get in fights because they were just like, I don't say that. Why? People would ask him, like in the grocery store, if he was like Egyptian. I was there one time. This lady was like, "Are you Egyptian or Greek or something?" He's like, "No, I'm just tan." I'm like, "What? Why'd she ask you that, Dad?"
She looked like a Creole woman.
Mm.
Now they say she from Harlem. They look Creole to me.
I wonder how they fooled them though, like,
I don't know.
cause we see it.
A lot of times, like when you discovering, people who may have passed for white, I be looking at the pictures like, who y'all fooled?
Right.
And how? And how did it go on for
Because
so long?
they was going strictly off of skin color. Strictly off of skin color.
And that's crazy because my mama light enough.
Hey.
Mom
Hey.
is a straight black woman.
When they get that coffee back in them days, when they get that coffee real quick. I'm just a little thirsty.
Listen.
Nah, that's what it was. They was going based off of skin tone, you guys. Like, it was strictly that or not. You in or you ain't. Because if you have it, you good. If you don't, even the slightest shade. Yeah, and that's how they was just getting it around them.
Yeah.
It would have been a different experience had their parents told them.
It's crazy when you go from not knowing anything and not like thinking anything of it, and then all this new information, you're just like shocked and like
Where's you living in, right?
excited. It makes me like wonder it and just think about how like blended everything is and how
Yeah.
like it's not just like one thing.
Right.
It's crazy.
Does it change your relationship to black people, do you think? Like,
I mean, not really. It just like I don't know, makes you think more about that we're all people.
So I try to picture all humans as a source of light, so I don't really
yeah.
take into consider
What did you say?
nationalities or
It's like I don't know, makes you think more about that we're all people.
so I try to picture all
Yeah,
humans
she
as
said that we're all people. And
Yeah.
that's true. And I feel like this the whole act of passing is an important story of American history.
Yeah.
And it shows how jacked up we are. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about us as a country as having to categorize ourselves because it's that important in our country.
Yeah.
We all can't walk up to each other and say, "Hey, are you American or are you, from somewhere else?" No, we walk up and we talk about black, white, Asian, and never take me saying that as I don't like who I am. Black and proud all day long, every day.
Yeah.
Okay? But because it's that important in our society, that's why I wish we could all have a
Kumbaya.
kumbaya of getting it off of our applications. Once you knock it down at the head, then it'll slowly fade away into history of us being so adamant on categorizing ourselves.
We got a lot of rocks that's unturned, man. Got plenty of those. Plenty of those.
a source of light, so I don't really take into consider nationalities or race or.
I mean, in this
people.
climate, though, it's for me, it's like hard not to think about race. It feels impossible.
It does.
Listening to Katie and Josh talk about race was really hard. I was hoping that learning about their true identities would inspire them to embrace their blackness, but I could tell that that wasn't going to happen. But at least they were open to meeting me and exploring our family history of passing. A lot of people did this. If they had the chance, it was like you're trying to do the best thing for your family in terms of getting work and jobs. And, it's a hard choice. I don't think there's a lot of people that come back together, though.
Right.
I think once they're out there and lost, that's it.
That's all you know. Thank you.
It's true.
After our meeting, Katie still had doubts that we were really related and that she had black ancestry. A few months later, she shared her DNA results with me, proving that she is in fact 15% African. She mentioned that she shared the results with Mickey and her aunts. They were shocked to hear the truth, and although they believed it, were still holding on to their identity as white people. Before I leave Nebraska, I'm going to visit the homestead of one of my heroes, Malcolm X. I've always been inspired by his passion and love for black people and our culture, and thought I should end this trip at the blackest spot in Omaha. So it's my last day in Omaha, I didn't get to meet with Mickey, so that's a little disappointing. And I get it, like, I think this is all too much. And not so much the blackness, but the level of betrayal that I think he's recognizing now as an adult. I've just been reflecting on, like, well, what does that feel like now to be like, oh, all those years spent fighting against something which I'm sure at the time he felt like was a negative stereotype was actually true. And now your parents are dead and there's nothing that you can do about it. There's no place to put your feelings. There's no place to put your anger and your frustration. I recognize how it would be hard for him to want to see me, and I was hoping to be able to bridge a connection in that way. And maybe it will happen. Maybe it's just not this trip. But I'm glad I came. I'm glad I came and glad I found the Nebraska cousins. The journey continues.
Ooh. All right. That was a hard one.
Yeah.
Listen, I feel like it's important to African American history.
Oh,
I
100%.
I really do.
100%.
Because that was not an easy task for people.
Nah, not at all.
And,
not at all.
And look how doing it so many times and, you know, reproducing wipes it out.
Yeah, I really feel like we're the hot topic, you know. We're the steam that evaporated and then rained over the world.
Evaporated. OMG.
Nah, real talk. We was
Yeah.
picked up and then
Yeah.
they spreaded us around the world. And then they got upset with the results. That's what you got to deal with. That's what you got to walk through every single day now. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Yeah, I wanna talk about the percentages. People, like, when race is a uncomfortable topic to discuss, but it's a necessary topic. Okay, whether you like it or not. People say if African Americans would do their DNA test, they'll all see that they are not 100% black. Obviously, from the
400,
history.
400. Yeah, it's a long
Obviously.
history. It's messed up.
Right.
It's messed up.
But I mean, how do you even discuss this conversation?
I feel like
with-
it's a certain place and time you do this type of conversation because of what it has to offer. You know what I'm saying? It's like you say, it's not everybody mature for this.
Okay, and we're gonna
Yeah.
leave it at that.
That's it. That's
We're
what
gonna
it is.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. Very proud of who we are, and we're gonna continue to share our stories. All right. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. Go check out that channel. We'll see you soon.
Peace.